Monday, June 12th, 0811, New York time. Good morning. New week for the futures. Futures up last night, 6 p.m. New York time. So we're into the new week. Let's help identify trade ideas. Looking here, again, each candle is a week. The current candle started last night. S&P 500 futures gapped up above the high of last week. The trend is still to the upside. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see if there's potential zones coming into. Yep, so we broke the swing high. Want to expect the trend to continue up towards this zone. So I want to consider trade ideas on pullbacks for entry. If we get a pullback here, then that would be determined on a faster time frame, which is the lower time frame for the entry signals. 10-year yield still inside the range of last week. Big consolidation here. Look, this consolidation, like a staircase pattern, higher high. Consolidation, breakout to the upside, impulse consolidation. This Wednesday, Federal Reserve meets, aka Central Bank United States, to vote on interest rates, to either leave them alone or change them. They raise interest rates here, then the yield goes higher. So breakout above here. Look for the idea going up here. If it goes up here to this zone, one could look for a potential reversal to trade bearish. Let's extend this out a little bit more. Nope, leave it there. Again, be looking for the trade signals off the faster time frame. US dollar. Yep, currently making a lower low, lower high. Still, big wicks on the bottom. Inside this huge big green candle. Big consolidation here. Raising yields typically have the bullish effect on the US dollar. So we have a trend here, pullback, maybe have that continuation up the upside. So again, we can look for a reversal here. Crude oil broke below the low of last week. Back here at the demand zone. Look, demand zone. Buyers have been stepping in here. Bullish opportunities. In gold, inside candle still. Again, we have these zones to look for areas to be retested. And the euro already took out the high of last week. Massive sell-off, looks like still in the retracement mode. So we have the dollar go longer, the dollar go higher. One would expect this is going to sell off. British pound, strong trend to the upside, close to the zone here. That's a supply zone. These sellers have been here. Again, this leg here, retracement, this could possibly break above here and go all the way up here. So we could be looking for trade signals. Well, a pullback on here on weakness. Look for that reversal to trade up. Maybe just forming a cup and handle too. Australian dollar coming back up to this supply zone of sellers. And the Canadian dollar. Yep. Again, last week, Canada raised interest rates or announced raising interest rates. We had that spike up into this supply zone. And then we had that sell-off right there. Massive supply, massive amount of sellers each time has been up here. And same thing occurred, that weekly candle. So looking at all these, let me take it to the faster time frame, intraday, on a 15-minute. So you can watch price action, because again, the futures are open right now. Depending on the time of day, because again, the futures are open longer hours, that's what's going to determine what financial instruments I'll be using to take these trades. Example, if I'm trading the 10-year yield, when the equity markets close, just the futures markets open, then I'll be most likely doing the futures contracts. If I'm bearish, I'll be shorting future contracts. Or maybe I'll just be doing the options on there. Now, if it's during the regular trading hours when the stock market's open, I'll consider using the stock ETF, TLT, using the options on there. So if I was bearish, I'm going to buy either put options or do bear call spreads. That's the same with each of these. Again, if I'm bullish US dollar, I'll be outright buying US dollar contracts or doing the US dollar buying calls or bull put spreads with the options. If it's regular trading hours, like when the stock market's open, I'll be using the stock ETF, UUP. Yep, again, same thing. There's also a bearish stock ETF. So depending on what direction I want to go. So there's lots of financial instruments to use, but these are the financial instruments I'm charting. And again, the charts is determining where I'm going to take a trade signal off. So we already have the highs and the lows of last week identified. Let me put this on I'll put on the hourly. The blue horizontal lines represents the highs and lows of last week. Again, S&P 500 already broke above the high of last week. Let's look here, for example. Let's pull up gold so you can see. Put this back on 5 days. And I'm going to finish here so you just get an idea. There we go. There's the low of last week for gold. There's the high last week. So potential trade ideas this week alone for scalping, swing trading, retest of these levels. After the market closes today, then I'll know the highs and lows for the new week. Again, the current daily candle will be done at 5 p.m. today. That's when I'm going to make the update on the video. So I already have updated trade ideas. Monday, June 12th, 5:36 p.m. New York time. U.S. stock market as well as the U.S. future markets are closed for the day. We just completed our first full trading day of the week. Tomorrow, the United States has very important economic data release. That's the CPI numbers. Wednesday, we also have very important economic data released, the PPI numbers. And in the afternoon, the Federal Reserve, aka U.S. Central Bank, will release their statements as well as the Fed fund rates that they vote on. Let's get started looking at the daily charts. First, the S&P 500 futures, which we gapped up at a higher high, higher low, gapped above. And look at this. That was a swing point. Probably broke above it, closed above it. Momentum's to the upside. On a pullback, we could be looking at these key levels for opportunities to reload on the bullish side. I have alerts set to notify me. 10-year yield, it closed red, made a higher high, higher low in this consolidation. Again, Federal Reserve, when they raise interest rates, the short-term overnight rates, yields go higher. Typically, the dollar goes higher and the bonds go lower. Trade ideas here. US dollar closed green, made a lower low, and then closed back up above. Very interesting. Big wick on the bottom. See what happens here again on the Wednesday policy piece. Crude oil closed red, made a lower low, lower high, tested and broke below this key demand zone and closed back inside of it. Buyers stepped up. Yep, buyers stepped up. Hopefully you got in the trade. I've been sharing this as a trade idea so many times, looking for the pullbacks. Gold, red, lower low, lower high. Still, it's major consolidation here. Going back inside a demand zone. What do we do when it's in demand zone? You take it to the faster time frame and look for trade setups. Euro, yeah, big consolidation. Impulse move up, and look at that. Green, higher high, higher low. I need to update this because that's not valid anymore. I already tested that midpoint. There we go. British pound, big sell-off, made a new high, sold off into the demand zone. Yep. Look at this. This might be the bullish trade idea. You have to take it a faster time frame. And Australian dollar, green, higher high, higher low. Long extension. Wow. Extend it out. Look at that. Still looks like it's on target to hit that there. And the Canadian dollar, red, lower low. Yep, interesting. Good. Look at this. Supply zone sellers. That's where it's at right now. Let's take it to the faster time frames. The 1 hour. Again, look at the S&P 500 futures. Monday, we already have the high and low of the week labeled. Potential trade ideas. Yep. Again, we broke above, gapped above the high of last week. Now we know where to start looking for retests, potential trade ideas. Yep, we're below that big round number, 4,400, and above quarters. Another potential trade idea. 10-year yield. Interesting. So again, made a high of the Monday, low of the Monday, and almost 100% retracement. Coming back into the demand zone where buyers were. US dollar, same thing. High of the day, low of the day. Took out the low of last week right there, that blue line, and closed back inside of it. And doing that retracement. Crude oil broke below the low of last week. That was a high of the day, low of the day. Look at that. Low of the day was tested. Big bullish pin bar formed down here. Went down and retraced it. Tested it. Buyer stepping in again. 67. Interesting. Good trade setup. And gold. There was a high Monday, the low Monday. Huge sell-off on that 1 hour candle. Had a retracement. See how it goes if it even gets to 1975. Potential bearish setup. And the euro. Again, we tested the high of last week, that blue horizontal line, rejected it, which happened to be a swing point right there. Good job out of you. Took that as a day trade. Nice. And then when it went down, quarters, 75. Look at that. Buyer stepped in there. Brought it back up. British pound, huge sell-off. What a fake out. They pumped it up in the morning, above the high of last week, and sold off hard, breaking the whole low of the day. Coming deep retracement below that of Friday. Wow. Australian dollar, same thing. Got the Monday high, Monday low labeled, broke above last week's high. That's where we're trading right now. Slow consolidation here. Impulse move up, retracement. Nice. Again, it looks stronger. Better than what we saw with the British pound. British pound was panic selling. Canadian dollar. Yep. So we already took out that low of last week. I mean, the low of last Friday. Much more weaker than many other currencies. Still between the high and low of last week. So I have mixed pictures going here, but the best point is, like I said, the first trading day of the week closed, and we already identified our high and lows, potential trade ideas. Thanks for watching.